Hey everyone, it's Blue Lizard Jello and welcome back to Everything Possible in the Search 2. Now this is going to be a little bit different of an episode, especially if you've been following along in order, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. As far as my build, I am using the same build as I use in episode 15. Now this is labeled as episode 14 and a half, but you can see I am using the codename Guttenberg. Yep, exactly as it's pronounced. Don't even try to correct me in the comments. And the reason I say it's the same build as I'm using in episode 15 is because, well, this is going to take place in between 14 and 15, and there's a very valid reason for that. More than one of you pointed out that by going to the Cathedral of the Spark and riding the elevator down to fight Matriarch Celeste, I actually failed Warren's quest. So if you're watching this in order, congratulations, you're not going to have any issue with Warren's quest. But if you watched episode 15 and you followed my advice, I do apologize. 14 and a half really should go first because we have to go talk to him down underground before we attack Matriarch Celeste. Now here I'm actually trying to show that as these enemies are about to throw a Molotov cocktail, if you hit them at the right time, they will explode, killing themselves. You'll take some damage as well, but just trust me, it works. I just killed him a little bit too quickly before he got the Molotov off. It seems like you have to wait till their arm is in the forward momentum. So as you may have already guessed, this is post-commentary. I did this so I could focus on the gameplay, make sure that I got the steps right, and then just allow you to sit and listen and hopefully enjoy. Now 14 and a half and episode 15 are going to have the same start. I am beginning at the Cloud9 bar, and then I'm going to be running through downtown Jericho to the next destination. In episode 15, I go all the way to Seaside Court and then Port Nixon onto the Cathedral, and then in this episode, I am simply going to be running towards Warren's lair, which is where we're heading now. At the time of this recording, the Kraken DLC has finally come out, which means that the Season Pass is now fulfilled, which means I will be making some separate videos for the Weapon and Armor Packs and the Kraken Story Mode DLC, but that is to come once we finally finish the Surge 2 story, which honestly is not too far away. So I do love this nano build. It does seem to be very powerful, and there are some implants that we're going to get, at least one in particular, that is going to even extend that further. I don't equip it this episode, but we will talk about it when we pick it up. Not too terribly worried about all the damage I'm taking, because as we drop down this area, right down to Riverside Street and enter the underground, this is where Warren is waiting for us. Still one of my favorite Easter eggs is coming in and hearing him humming that song.
Glad to see you made it. Just after I left AID command, everything went to hell. I was sure your luck had finally run out. I have to leave the city immediately. The world needs to know what these guys did. Looks like the explosion at the AID base unleashed a storm of nanites. They're everywhere. They're transforming matter all the time, and there's no off switch. Just how Dr. Barrett built them. But somehow I get the feeling they're communicating with each other or with someone or something. Every wall is a door, my friend. During my underground adventures, I found out how to reactivate the subway train at Capitol Station. But the whole tunnel is filled with nanite structures. I'll have to blast through them, and to do so, I need one of those anti-nanite repeller units. If I can get a repeller coil, we'll have a train to get us out of this godforsaken city. Well, I saw some guys dragging repeller equipment into the prison you escaped from a while back. But I still need to work on the override codes to get the train running again. You'll save me a lot of time if you keep an eye out for a repeller coil in the meantime. We have to succeed. The world must know. Looks like it's all coming to a head.
So now we need to find a repeller coil for Warren, and it's going to be in the prison that we escaped from. In fact, it's going to be in the very room where we fought Warden Garcia at the very start of the game. I just pointed the camera down just to show, even though it looks like there is solid rock directly below this ledge, it is a kill box, so if you drop down, you will die. Now, since I decided to come back and do the Warren quest, so hopefully I don't cause too many people to fail it, I also decided that it is worth doing the entire underground, frankly, simply because, well, we're here, and there's not a whole lot to explore anyway. You can see there that I accidentally just went down the line instead of, well, just continuing forward, but we're not going too terribly far once we're up here, just kind of giving you the lay of the land. But just dead forward, right here, this is the quest item Warren's keycard. This is going to open up the door right by our good pal Warren. So back down the line we go. Ignoring the beautiful humming of Stumfall's Prisoner by Warren. Go around the corner, we do get a new implant, the Emergency Reserve Injection. This injection takes 6 core power, it'll restore 150 health, and this is the same exact one that we got in Cathedral of the Spark. Again, if you're watching them out of order, if you're watching them in order, you can also pick one of these up in the Cathedral, but essentially as long as you have a single battery, any blow that should have been lethal will actually cause you to come back with 150 health. It only works once though, in between deaths or resting at medbase. Back in the prison here, you're going to recognize where we are in just a second, but also with the JCPD Armory Pack, we're going to see a couple of new enemies in here with some new armor to pick up. So using our Starfish drone, here's the first one. No new weapon, no implants from them, but we do want to get some of their armor, so I'm going to wait for a deflection. There we are, get the cut. Beautiful, we'll pick up the schematic here in a moment. Let's deal with his friend here, same armor. To my knowledge, these are the only 2 enemies in the game that will drop this armor, and it is the JCPD Team Zola armor. The partial set bonus will give you increased stamina regeneration, and the full set bonus says that when a battery is filled, you'll gain a small amount of stamina. So for dodge heavy builds, this could be something that you may want to look into. It's okay, it's fine, there's nothing really special about it. It does look pretty cool though. And of course we got the headgear as well. They do respawn. I'm not going to farm for this myself in this playthrough, but you can just go rest at the med bay that's not too far. We're going to run past it here in a second, and then you can very quickly and easily get that full armor set. And now all we're doing is running all the way to the arena where we fought Warden Garcia, and there's going to be some NPCs for us to talk to, and we will have a decision on our hands. I'm going to tell you what I did, and you can make your own choice.
Welcome to our sanctuary, fellow outcast. Nobody'll hurt you here. See that repeller up there? We found it, reassembled it, made it stronger than ever. It's just me and the boys here. Why should we leave? This prison is the only home we know. The nanites are powerless against our tech. Join us. There's more than enough room. Build in a future. The cops left this repeller when they ran away with their tails between their legs. But their loss is our gain. This thing's worth a mint, and we guard it with our lives. It's hanging right above us, friend. Range isn't huge, but it'll do the trick. As long as you stay in here, you can forget about those nanites. Maintenance is a bit of a hassle, though. Some moron thought it was a bright idea to hide the control switch upstairs. Oh well, it's not like we're gonna release that repeller coil anytime soon, huh?
Haha, no, definitely not.
No way, babe. If you take that repeller, you'll have the death of every last person here on your conscience. There's a beast lurking close by, you know? You wouldn't be foolish enough to fight another one of those critters, would you?
Condescension aside, if you continue and say, seriously, I'm taking the repeller, they will become hostile and you will have to kill them to get the coil.
Here.
Now, I guess there's a little bit of an ethical debate here, and while it's probably easily won, if you kill them outright and you take the coil, that's one solution. Or if we go upstairs, which we're about to do, we can release the coil, which unfortunately is going to cause some nanite beasts to come down and slaughter them, and then we get the coil. So killing indirectly versus causing death directly, probably 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But here's the switch, and as you can see, as soon as we interact, the coil is released, and without even seeing it happen, but we can hear it, you can see that loot pyramid right in the middle. We don't have to take our time and kill the nanite beast if you don't want to. You can just grab that loot pyramid and run, but, well, what's in everything possible if we actually run past the enemies, right? I really don't tend to do that very often, do I? So I'm getting my Molotov cocktails equipped. This actually works very, very well against these enemies. Let's just unleash one. There we go. Get some good burn damage. Missed 2 of those deflections, exactly as planned. Then as long as we can just bait that attack, we can very easily get that killed. There's one more nanite beast. Let's go take care of him. Similar tactic, hopefully less damage. You can see him just flying all over the room. Doesn't seem too interested. Here I am trying to bait the attack. Normally he'll come down. Can't even target him. Otherwise I would have used my Molotov. Anyway, let's grab that repeller coil and dash out of the way. And here is number 2. Okay, we've got the block, no deflection. There it is. Fantastic. And the update, the stranger may contact you later. As Warren said, he needs some time in order to get the underground train going. And we've already seen where the train is, but we're gonna also show you another shortcut here since we'll be down in the underground.
Have a nice day, officer.
There's the med bay in case you want to rest up or get your health back. I am nearly full and have all of my injectables, but there is also a first aid station right outside the warden's office. And we'll stop there and top off because, well, why not? You could have also rested there and gotten the armor. And that is something that's only now clicking to me, so good job, Blue. Hindsight, 2020. Heading back now, Warren will still be there, but he doesn't have anything new to say, so I don't really recommend going back.
We did it! We escaped this goddamn clink! But what about the
I'm going to
warden?
listen to only part of this
What
audio
about
log, and then
the
we'll
warden? He's never
finish
gonna
it here in a
find
bit
us down
because,
here.
well, I kind of forgot that interacting will cause it to stop.
Yeah. Free at last. But still, free for what? We're trapped in Jericho. The world's going to hell.
Here we have the auto-healing dynamo, and this is why the audio log stops. So this is a booster implant, 18 core power, 10% energy gain, 20 health restoration every time a battery is filled. Not too bad, except that is a hefty cost of 18 core power. But now that I unfortunately stopped the audio log, let's give it a listen while we push on just a little bit further and kill some more enemies.
We did it! We escaped this goddamn clink! But what about the warden? What about the warden? He's never gonna find us down here. Yeah. Free at last. Yeah. Free at last. Still, free for what? We're trapped in Jericho. The world's going to hell. There is no escape.
So you could tell that that audio log was by the same people that we just took the repeller coil from. Hopefully they escaped. I know I said they died, but you know what? In my heart of hearts, I know that they survived. They really did. Just killing a few enemies here to move on. You can see Matriarch Celeste in the background. Obviously just a recorded hologram, but we'll be dealing with her in the next episode. Or you may have already seen me deal with her.
The profound gifts of the spark, becoming ever stronger.
Now we are going to get some new gear here. I'm not going to talk about it because I do talk about it extensively in episode 15. Just know that if you don't come here first and you go to the Cathedral of the Spark, you can get the implant, the drone module, and all the armor in the Cathedral.
And you must light the way for the unbelievers, even if they resist our truth.
Don't forget to go behind the plinth here. Just waiting for all these schematics to disappear. There's the Spark Galvanizer's armor, but here we have a cache of advanced tech worth 20,000 scrap. Definitely worth picking up. And yet another audio log. Let's give it a listen.
Dear passengers, people who use the Jericho Underground transport without a ticket, behave in a disorderly manner, or smoke in public areas will have their work permits revoked immediately. Any misbehavior will be recorded in your individual social credit file. To avoid a negative record, please follow the relevant regulations and report any irregularities. Have a pleasant journey.
So just really kind of filler text here, but this is one of those scientists that St. Croix was talking about. We saw him when we first traveled through the lower parts of the underground. He said that there were 3 of them that we needed to kill, and here is number 1. Now I'm focusing on this very long extended arm because as we get the cut, or frankly once we get the kill, we can get a weapon from him. Even though the arm doesn't get fully dismembered, it is rather easy to kill them once you just focus on something that's not armored, and there is one of the prototypes, 1 out of 3. And here is the living jawbone. So this is a heavy-duty weapon dealing 347 damage, 26 impact, 96% attack speed, 90% energy gain, 138% stamina consumption, and 22 nano damage. Not an incredibly high nano damage. I would have liked to see it a little bit higher. As you can see, my weapon already beats it out at 26, but the raw damage itself is pretty substantial. Let's hop off our injectables. There are a few batteries on the ground. So we have one line down that way, and then we have this grav lift this way. We're going to take the grav lift first. Another audio log, so let's give that a listen as we proceed.
I'm close to a breakthrough. We found a way to merge man and machine in glorious unity at last. It took me a long time to get to this result, but now I can see clearly. What have I done? What scourge have I unleashed? No, wait. It wasn't me. This was Barrett's plan. He wanted this. He asked for it. I only did what I was told. I have to change my ways. I can save everyone. If I survive long enough to pay for my sins, I will hunt them down one by one. I'm the only one who can end this.
We'll talk about that audio log in a second, but this hidden chest contains the drone kill battery converter, 6 core power consumption, 100 energy restored for every time your drone gets a kill. We also get the critical dynamo. 6 core power consumption, 20% energy gain if your health is low enough. I believe it is under 25%, but this is actually Warren's secret stash. If you notice, we also got a Vanguard missile from it, so it can be very useful in order to deal some very, very heavy-duty damage. Now this is kind of a one-way street for us because I don't want to go to Port Nixon. I have shown this entrance from the Port Nixon side in a previous episode, in fact in the Port Nixon episode, but if I go through that door and come back, all the enemies have respawned, and frankly, I'm just not about that life. So back up the line we go. We've already done the drop down the grav lift, not much down there. We got a large pile of tech scrap, and then we had one of those unusual corrupted barriers. We will get the power to take those out in episode 16, not 15, but in 16. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be good times had by all. So that is it for the other side of Warren's hideout. So we're gonna go back, as I said, you can see him, you can talk to him, but he has no new dialogue, despite the fact that we already have the repeller coil. Let's dispatch this enemy again, might as well get some more parts from him. Massive damage with that backstab. Just stomp the leg off, why not? You can really do the underground in just about any order. I'm going to show you a way that has frankly worked out fairly well for me. It does have a little bit of backtracking. If you found a more efficient way, hey, kudos, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I do get all the loot and I do kill all the enemies, even if it might be a little bit out of order. There's another scientist dead ahead. Another audio log. Let's give that a listen.
Hello, I'm Kyle Baxter. You may know me from such movies as Iron Mouse, Iron Mouse 2, maybe even my most recent hit, Iron Mouse 8. Did you know that blue sparkle addiction is becoming a national concern? This drug is an epidemic sweeping across the country. Blue sparkle has already ruined countless lives. I am deeply worried about its effects on our citizens. Please fight back by joining the CREO Anti-Drug Foundation in our crusade to get blue sparkle off the streets. And always remember, hugs defeat drugs.
Thank you, Kyle Baxter. Now we got the entropic dissolver for cutting off the head of this scientist. This booster implant takes 6 core power. It increases your nano and your poison damage and buildup by 30%. This is that implant I was talking about. If you're running a poison or a nano build, this is almost a must. Your nano and poison will proc more frequently and the resulting damage will be 30% stronger. An excellent implant and rather low core power consumption. That is the area that we explored when we first came through the underground. Just wanted to show you. There's St. Croix over there, which, by the way, we need to talk about that audio log, Barrett's Legacy 3 of 3. That is not by Dr. Barrett, but is actually recorded by St. Croix, and it sounds like maybe he was a little bit more nefarious than he originally let on. And here we have the lithium polymer cells implant. You can also get this later on, but this implant takes 14 core power, reduces your energy decay and your battery cooldown by 25% and 15 seconds respectively. Not too bad if you're worried about your lost batteries. Heading down this one line, you can see we're just above St. Croix. But up this line, we do have the one medbay present in the underground. We also have Barrett's Legacy, one of 3.
Project Utopia failed. Our future in ruins before it began. Jean's, Dr. Barrett's dream can't die. There has to be another way. A better way. I've exposed thousands of nanites to extreme conditions, but so far they've persevered. No, more than that. They've prospered. Soon we'll be able to harvest their power.
As we just heard, St. Croix is somewhat following in Dr. Jean Barrett's legacy, and Dr. Jean Barrett's legacy was that of the Proteus, those very violent, half-humanoid, skeletal nanite creations from the original game. So again, something not quite right here. Now I switched to a very low power weapon to take on this level 2 enemy, simply because I want to get the head cut. The JCPD armory pack also included some new implants, and this enemy happens to have one of them. And that is the Omnicell Battery Converter. It's an injectable. It takes 3 core power, you get max pre-charges of 2 at base level of course, and it gives you 1 Omnicell every time you use the injectable at the cost of 1 battery. 1 for 1 isn't the worst deal, however once it upgrades it does become a lot more valuable, especially if you're relying on your drone a lot. Just going back to my heavy duty weapon. I just showed you Deadhead, that's one of the exits to downtown Jericho. That's also the metro that we're going to find Warren in later on. But again, as the quest said, he's going to contact us later. Now I decided not to rest at the medbay because again, I don't want enemies resurfacing. There aren't too many of them here, so if it's not something you're worried about, go ahead and rest, save your progress. It's a lot less of a run back from this med station. Heading down this line, this is a rather interesting spot. Through this door is going to be that last scientist that we need to deal with, and we're also going to see another corrupted barrier, but I'm going to talk about just how you can get through there right now. I don't show it off because it can be a little bit finicky, but I'm going to walk you through the process if you're curious about it. Nice deflection there, take about 1/5 of his health off in 1 hit. Double deflection, double the fun. And then I got a little bit scared, so I backed off, but there's the cut. And there we have Anti-Nano Prototype 2 out of 3. We get a little bit of parts, and now we're ready to go back to St. Croix and let him know. So there's the corrupted structure, cannot get through. You can see there is a memory on the other side. Well, we can get there without destroying the barrier. Dark Birthplace, I want you to remember that name for later on. It's going to be a few episodes from now, probably episode 17 or so, towards the end, but we're going to be back here a little bit later. So ignoring the corrupted structure, let's head back out. We're going to take this grav lift back up, magnetic lift, excuse me. Don't forget this loot, some large pile of scrap, and over here, if you run and jump at the railing and you can stick the landing, you can actually run on this railing and then jump diagonally over to that memory. It does take a little bit of finesse because you need to stick the landing on the railing just right. It's very easy to overshoot it and then fall down, which doesn't kill you as long as you have enough health, but you do have to run back and it can be a little bit tedious. But I was able to get it in about 5 or 6 tries. It's not too difficult. Otherwise, once you have the power to destroy those barriers, you can just come back and knock that down. Almost forgot this loot cache over here. A whopping Mark 1 implant circuitry. Would have been another implant if we hadn't already gotten it.
Seems nanites are even more adaptable than I ever thought. They are beautiful creatures. Sometimes I don't feel worthy enough to be around. But Dr. Barrett is the only one who understands. He will lead us into the future. The others, they'll see. They think I've cracked. Lost my mind, my worldview, my entire state of being. A bit.
Once again, St. Croix letting us know that he wasn't exactly as innocent as he first let on. In fact, he's going to tell us as such when we go and approach him again. Now his quest can actually be finished in a number of ways. We're going to talk about that as we go up this magnetic lift and talk to him again.
You doing well, fellow survivor? Well done, fellow survivor. Looks like we've both been busy. Did you get me the prototypes? Amazing. This is exactly what I've been looking for. With this, I might be able to hold back my nanite infection. I need to ask you for one more favor. Here, take this implant. I think you'll be able to charge it up by walking through a scanner gate. See, the one right over there. That should do the trick. I'd go myself if it wasn't for my broken leg.
So we get the broken implant and he tells us all we need to do is walk through that scanner gate. And it is true, it's that simple.
How's it going?
I'm just showing you this option here. I found some recordings you've lost your mind. If you find all 3 of Barrett's legacy audio logs, you will have another option in turning this quest in, but I'm going to talk about it afterwards because it can be just a tad confusing. You may have noticed that I took the time to kill all the enemies that were down in the water. Otherwise, when we run through that scanner gate, it alerts them and they all come running. But you can see that turned into the Nano Absorber EX. This booster implant takes 8 core power and it increases your nanite defense by 250, so it reduces the buildup of those nano effects.
How's it going, fellow survivor? This is a breakthrough. It works. It actually works. With this, I'll even be able to hold back my own nanite infection. Oh, right. I never mentioned it, did I? I wasn't quite forthright, I guess. I was patient 0, the first to be infected. I've been able to fight the disease, but time is running out. My leg is almost gone. That's why I came down here. But now, with this implant, I have a chance. This won't cure my infection, but it will contain it. At least for a while.
And now you have some options. If you tell him to use and save yourself, you're going to get a reward. He lives, and we'll see him later at Gateway Bravo. If you tell him to hand it over, unfortunately he'll lose hope and he'll die simply because he was relying on this implant in order to save himself. But there's one other option. Again, talk about that as soon as we walk away from him.
Thank you so much, fellow survivor. This feels like a new lease of life. I can only help people if I return to the outside world.
So there we go. The quest has now been finished. We get 20,000 tech scrap, but we also get the corroded butterfly. Twin-rigged weapons dealing 185 damage, 10 impact, 110% attack speed, 65% energy gain, 70% stamina consumption, and 61 poison damage. 61 poison damage, and this is only at Mark 5. Upgraded, plus with that implant that we got earlier that increases the poison buildup and damage, this can actually be a really great weapon if you're one of those that likes to get in, get the poison to proc, and then back off and let poison do its work. Now we did lose the Nano EX implant. We can get another one at the Great Wall location, or if you want to get both the implant and the weapon, here's what you need to do. You need to collect all 3 of Barrett's legacy audio logs. You need to give him the prototype so he gives you the broken implant. You run through the scanner gate so you get the Nano EX implant, and then when you go back, instead of telling him that you have it ready, that's when you call him out for what he's done based on the audio logs. If you do that, you will get the corroded butterfly, you will get to keep the implant, but unfortunately Professor St. Croix will die. So it's up to you. If you want to get it all, go for it. Let him know that he's a dirtbag and you know all about him. Otherwise, you can do what I did. He will live, he'll hopefully go on to become a better person and save some people, and, well, you can just get another implant later on. I'm just fast forwarding this section because I wanted to show the run back all the way to Cloud 9, especially because the next episode is going to start there. But that is really going to do it for this episode of Everything Possible in the Search 2. Thank you so much for calling me out and letting me know that I did frankly goof on Warren's quest. It is your contributions that helped me to fine-tune these walkthroughs over time. I do make mistakes, I do miss things, and I always rely on you and appreciate it so much. But here we are, back in the Cloud9 bar. It is so weird not to hear the music playing, but that's going to do it. Hope you learned something. If you did, leave me a comment below, and if I missed something, as always, put that down in the comments as well. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.